right.
Ooh.
We are jumping right back in with part 2. Thank you again, Woody. So, Kyle, what do you have for us?
Well, I got, speaking of crap, something different. And it's not all crap. It's just 4 out of 5. Almost every night I tune in to a little bit of YouTube. Just because if I'm not watching a series or I'm not watching a movie, I want something small, entertaining, or fun. And that can be a list of different things. First thing, so these are 4 different shows on YouTube. How ridiculous. 3 Australians, religious Australians, but they don't push it hard on you. They go around Australia, Western Australia, mind you, and the world, throwing stuff off of other stuff, crashing stuff, playing games, and it's dumb. And it's great. If you want to watch guys push a car down a hill in New Zealand just to see it hit a tree or a rock, and then throw a bunch of tires at it, this is the show for you. If you want to see them go to South Africa and throw a basketball off of a cliff and try to get it into a basketball hoop at the bottom of the cliff, this is a show for you.
All right. If you replace Australian with Canadian, I would have thought you were talking about Justin Bieber.
It's exactly that. Yes. If you want to see 3 guys, take Justin Bieber, throw him off the CN Tower. This is going to be the show for you because they're going to get there eventually.
They can only do one take.
No, they don't. They do a ton of different things. Usually it's like a theme.
If you throw Bieber off the CN Tower...
That's the end. They throw other minor celebrities first.
That's the jump the shark moment.
You don't even have to throw him that far. You can throw him down a hill, he'll collapse.
Kyle,
Yeah, you gotta scrape him off the pavement.
Yes, no.
do they do like a Lord of the Rings crossover or anything? Because I feel like that's the
No.
only thing I know about New Zealand.
They have subscriptions, so they have tons of money.
It sounds like Mr. Beast. Like it's got a very
It
Jackass
is.
type vibe.
This is a lot of this crap is Mr. Beastie stuff.
Yeah.
But these guys, they go to Switzerland to this huge dam. That's a humongous dam, and they throw stuff off that. They throw bowling balls onto trampolines, and then they play golf, and see who can get closest to the inflatable pool and try to get a soccer ball in there. They'll go to South Africa. They'll go to New Zealand. They'll go to Montana. They're shooting bowling balls out of cannons at each other. And it's amazing.
Jesus.
It's dumb. And you get to watch it in slow motion because that's half of it. This show is just watching stuff in slow motion, hit stuff or blow up or whatever else it does. And that's just the fun part. It's just like, oh,
What's the name again?
how ridiculous.
How ridiculous.
My kids and wife know as the show where these 3 Australian guys just constantly yell, and that's what it is a lot. Them going, yeah, and screaming like because something went wrong. Or right.
Woody won't watch people yelling at each other. So
Well, in that case, this is not the show.
Oh, no, happily. If they're happily yelling at each other.
Yes.
All right.
Kind of like
This is
us.
fair,
We all
fair.
happily
This is
yell.
all happy, yes. So that's how ridiculous. Second one is Gels, and that's JELLES, Marble Run. This is the dumbest show I'll ever talk about, and except for tires.
For this one.
That one?
And I say dumb in quotes. It is a guy, and it's not a guy. It's one guy named Gel. I think he's from Holland, I assume, maybe. He sets up a marble run, sometimes in the dirt, sometimes made with Legos, sometimes plastic or wood. He sets these courses up and runs marbles down them, see which one comes down first. That's all it is. But he set it up like the teams, all these different color marbles have different teams. If you don't like sports, but you want to have something like sports, this is what that is. It's insane. But it's also just fun to watch because you're just watching marbles go down and that one won. There we go.
Is it? Do they put commentary or do they literally
Yes.
just watch? Okay.
Are you talking about Greg Woods' commentator? Yes, he's there.
Okay. Okay.
And they have commentary. They talk about the marbles like they're people. It's insane. I know I'm going to be a crazy person when somebody goes out and checks this out afterwards. And you're like, you're insane for watching that. Yes, but it's great. It's just, you can check in with it. You can check out with it. You can put it on the background. You can sit and watch episode after episode if you want, for some reason. But Gel's Marble Run. That's the second one.
Sorry, just to jump in here. Kyle
Please.
told me he was watching this a while ago. And my kids love making marble runs, like my students.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I just need somebody to voice over them, and they would be like the best.
You be the Canadian version of this guy.
I could create my own YouTube channel.
Yes. It's amazing. He gets, again, these are all people who are getting subscriptions and fans and paying money for this stuff. I don't know how they do it, but
next year, Mike Drew is a YouTube star. He's making rolling in a yacht.
The Australian show that you mentioned, I don't know what their travel budget is, but it sounds wild. You know, they are in Iceland. Oh, they are in Montana. Oh, South Africa. Jesus.
I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I had a student a couple years ago who his dad was a contractor.
Okay.
And this kid, so he's 13, he had a YouTube channel and he took a video. So him and his dad installed a new toilet somewhere. He took a video. He literally flushed the toilet. Okay. Just flushed it and, whatever. So it was probably a 15-second video of him literally flushing the toilet. They watched the water go down and refill, and that was it. Okay. He had, within 3 months, he had 60,000 views of it. And it was because it was whatever he had put. This kid was like meticulous. Like he put in the model of the toilet, everything. And I think that's what it was. I think people were like going on YouTube. They're like, I'm interested in this toilet. 60,000 views of my student going, push.
Look at that Ryan kid. The Ryan kid started opening gifts on YouTube, and now he's on a movie in theaters.
That's insane.
You know the name of the video, what it should have been? Should have been called The Internet.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Humanity from now on.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
amazing how much this stuff goes on that you don't know about. It's like the dark web, but it's not. It's just another part of the web you don't know or care about. It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right, third one, VAT19. This is a company out of St. Louis, USA. Not St. Louis, Canada. St. Louis, and they do mail order shipping of different products, items, food, jokes, stuff like that. But they have a show called Rejects, where they bring on products and don't like them, and give reasons why this one sucks or this one doesn't. And that's it. And they make jokes, and it's funny. And that's all. It's really, if you're into jokey kind of stuff and middle-aged guys making jokes about crap, that's a show for you. Very broad.
Your show descriptions are wild.
Keeping it just very straight to the point.
Like, how many drugs did he take before we started recording?
Kyle, when you found these 4 shows, did it, like, after you finished one, did it say, now we recommend this one? And
They give you the channel, and then they show you a bunch of cool ones. Yeah.
You know what?
5 easy ways to sniff glue.
I'm sure that's on there.
At least with that, you know what it's like Nick's show. You know what's about to happen. You're like, okay, I'm in.
Look what he does with Ready Whip.
That's all I'm looking for. Just stupid stuff.
I love
And
it.
the final one's going to be Bless Your Rank. We talked to Tony about this. It's a guy from Alabama who
Tony
works as a
Who's Tony for the listeners at home?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Tony Greathouse. Tony Greathouse, our friend from Alabama.
Y'all be sweet.
This is about another guy from Alabama, not Tony Greathouse, named Matt Mitchell, who takes an array of products. Let's go his favorite Little Debbie snacks, and he'll try each one and then rank them and makes jokes about them. And it's 15 minutes long. You find out about different chicken sandwiches or different peanut butters or different Sprite varieties. And it's just fun jokes. That's all it is.
Don't bury the lead. Where do we go from here? What's the best Little Debbie snack?
Swiss cake rolls, or as he calls them, smoky rolls.
Why? You can't just change the name.
What are you talking about, Canada? You changed the names of all of our candy bars.
Good point.
Got nothing for you.
I'm not getting in the middle of that. And the last thing I have is an actual show, sort of. It's a comedy special, stand-up. And Neil Brennan is a comedian that worked with Dave Chappelle on Chappelle's show. And he's had a bunch of comedy specials out in the last 10 years. And they're okay. Some are really good. Some are all right. But this last one, Crazy Good, was crazy good. It's his best one I've ever seen of his. And I'm not a huge fan of his. But it was really good and really funny. And yeah, the end.
All right.
All right.
I like Neil Brennan too. I haven't seen it.
See it. It's worth it. It's good.
I have throwing bowling balls on trampolines and, pushing Bieber off the CN Tower and like marble runs, and my brain is going to explode.
You got to write these down.
Welcome to YouTube.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right. Thank you, Kyle.
All right. Kyle's our new YouTube segment host.
Corn spotting.
Right.
I got it.
And now we're on the field with Kyle. Kyle.
I'm in my bathroom. Listen to this flush.
Kyle, may I suggest TikTok to you? That might.
I'm not that guy. I'm too old for that.
Oh my
many
God.
That's
Are you
Nick's
though?
realm.
Thanks. So, Mike, what do you have?
All right. I will go the opposite of Woody. I will start with the shows that I think you should avoid. Now, I can't remember if I talked about this, however many episodes back, where this probably would have been right around the time that we started to watch it, but I don't know if I mentioned it. So I'm just going to mention it again quickly in case I didn't.
Slow
Oh,
horses.
yeah.
There it is. There it is.
There it is. Thank you. Check it off.
New season, September 4th.
Oh,
Let it-
I didn't know. Thank you. Great.
Yep.
Sugar, another Apple TV show.
Oh, yeah, with
Colin
Colin
Farrell.
Farrell. Yes.
Listen, this is why I hated
The Irish.
Harry Potter.
Oh.
Because Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter was like, I found after like the second book or movie, there's books, anyway.
What?
What are those?
The movie, after like the second movie, it was like anytime Harry had like stuff happening to him, it was like, it's really this character who you've never heard of, and they kind of brought in to fill in this, like, why these weird things are happening to him. All right, Sugar was the same. I was invested the first 5 episodes, and I think it's episode 6 where, spoiler alert, so this is where that drop would go for the awkward silence. Colin Farrell is an alien,
I thought it was a lobster.
and hence it explains everything why things have been happening the way they have.
Ooh.
And it's just like, really? It's just super lazy. Didn't like it.
Oh,
Any ghosts? Any ghosts in it?
No.
Oh, that is
Okay,
saved.
never
it,
mind.
maybe.
I'm
Okay.
out. No.
They didn't drop shit off buildings. Nothing. I was
Nothing.
mad.
Ghosts are out.
So avoid that. Now, I was going to say Botkin. My friend Hector already said that. Because, I just after that first episode, I was like,
It gets better. It gets better. Yeah,
Okay.
I know exactly what, like, when the introduction of Will Forte, I'm like, okay, I don't need an SNL character, but
that's a great way to put it. And it just,
it grows from there. It doesn't
Okay.
stay that way. Yeah.
he seemed over the top, and Siobhan Cullen's character's just like, I think was verbalizing how I was feeling. And I was just like, I'm not sure this is going to work. Okay, we talked about Stephen Moffat earlier, Woody, when we talked about Doctor Who. He has a show that came out this year called Douglas is Cancelled. It's with Hugh Bonneville and Karen Gillan. Premise is that they co-host a morning like TV show together, and it's anyway. Hugh Bonneville apparently at a wedding one weekend says like a sexist joke. It gets brought up on Twitter. And then it becomes, like this big thing, and people keep retweeting it. I made it 2 episodes, and from what I can tell, Karen Gillan you don't really know if she's on his side or not, because she's playing the social media card too. And I did listen to like a BBC show about it. And again, they don't give any spoilers or anything, where it's kind of, and it's what I thought, it's kind of that take on cancel culture, from a middle-aged man's point of view, with social media, etc. I just couldn't get into it. I really like those two, but
Sounds like a premise to a movie instead of a whole show.
yeah, and it's supposed to be. It's kind of like a dramedy, and that's one of the parts that kind of drove me nuts. Like we were talking with Nick earlier, I couldn't figure out if it was comedy or if it wanted to be a drama. Yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. Next show, getting back to Siobhan Cullen. This isn't. I spoke about a show a while ago, at the end of last year, I think, called The Lovers. Mm-hmm. It was like a rom-com series. I think her name was Roisin Gallagher. She's an Irish actress. She's actually the lead in this. Okay, so this is where we start to the shows are getting better. She plays a recovering alcoholic. The second season was just on this year. Her sister is Siobhan Cullen. And, nobody really knows. And look, I'm going to relate it to myself. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 26 years. And it's not because for me, it wasn't because I was an alcoholic and I just kind of had an incident and I was like, I'm done. But I think I lost some friends and some acquaintances because of it, because I almost didn't know how to handle it. And that's what she's experiencing, because she's also experiencing it with her family, and other things are happening in her life. And her sister, Siobhan Cullen, who plays a doctor, and, but you kind of find out she's a screw up as well, right? But it's well acted. I will say this, my wife didn't like it, and I did. So, and I know I always throw my wife's opinion in here, but we do watch a lot of these together. So I liked it.
So what was the name?
It's called The Dry.
And where is it?
The Dry. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where you can see it. Oh, actually, I think it's on Gem here in Canada, CBC Gem.
It says AMC Plus.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Got it.
In the States. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it was good. Like, I think I liked season 1 better than season 2, but season 2 was watchable. Season 4, I won't talk a lot about this because I've mentioned the show in the past. Another Apple TV show. They just had season 4 of Trying, which is with Rafe Spall, Rafe Spall, which is his dad is what can I think?
Timothy?
Timothy Spall. Yep. And from the Irish cop show that you liked, Patrick, Blue Lights. Is it Sean Brooke? How do you? Yes, yeah. So
yes.
She plays like she's the main character's sister. This season was really good. The kids are bigger now because last time they were small when it was kind of all about the adoption process, and now it's like living with the adopted kids now that like 5 years passed. It was good. I liked it. I won't say too much because I've talked about it in the past. Now this is where we get into the shows that I really liked. And I had mentioned to Patrick, I had sent him a text and said, I think I may have my show of the year so far. I mean, we still got a couple months to go.
Please say Tires.
It will not be Tires. Please will not be Tires. I will also say it's not a YouTube production, so that rules all those out.
I'm out.
Kyle won't see it.
Sorry. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with two that are kind of soulmates because they're both about the main character in both of them are autistic individuals. And for people who know me, I work with a lot of kids with special needs. So these kind of related to me. This first one is called Dinosaur. It's on CBC Gem. It is a super sweet comedy. It is a comedy, even though there are dramatic elements. It's about a girl who's a paleontologist. It's a Scottish comedy, so you might want to put subtitles on. But she's a paleontologist. Her best friend is her sister, and her sister comes home once and says, I've met a guy, I'm getting married. And she's kind of freaking out because all of a sudden, like, she's worried that she's going to lose, her best friend, aka her sister. It's very sweet. I would say it's really nice. This is one of those shows that, if I had mentioned in the past that, hey, you'll like Kim's Convenience, and you did, this is probably similar to one like that, or like a Detectorists. If you ended up watching it and you were like, oh, I really like that, I think this would be in the same kind of ballpark. Yeah, Dinosaur. And it's on Hulu because I've got the IMDb page up right now.
That helps.
The next one is a similar show. Like I said, this is called Austin. It's a Australian, I'll say comedy, but again, it's a drama as well. It's about a guy. The main character is a guy named Michael Theo, who was on a show called Love on the Spectrum, which I actually never watched, but it was on Netflix, which was a reality show. And again, did what it said on the title. Yeah, but he's actually plays a young man in Australia. His dad is a children's writer, but he doesn't know his dad because I guess his mom tells him, hey, your dad is actually this person, which is this kind of well-known children's writer who's played by Ben Miller. He's a British comedian. Actor. He actually comes to Australia for a book tour. They meet. But right before that, Ben Miller had reposted a free speech tweet, which happened to be done by a white nationalist. And then obviously his career starts to take a nosedive. And this is right when he's meeting this son that he had no idea about. It's very sweet. Some of it is set in England because, spoiler, they go back to England for some of the episodes. Billie Piper, another Doctor Who. Yeah, connection. She's in 2 of the episodes, I think. I won't say why. She's very quirky in it. It's very funny. She plays herself. I really liked it. And Ben Miller is, he's not always my cup of tea. I've seen him in a lot of, obviously British productions. He plays this part well, but he's not necessarily my favorite actor. Sorry, Mr. Miller. But yeah, I think actually his connection with Austin, his kind of lost son that he just found out about, is quite sweet as well. If I said that you had to only watch one between it and Dinosaur, I would probably say Dinosaur, but I really liked Austin as well. And to be fair, the guy Michael Theo who is Austin absolutely steals the show. He is fabulous. Like he just is brilliant in this whole thing. So Again, both very much worth watching. But
What's it on? Because it's not on Hulu.
No, what do you call it? Tactically acquired there, Patrick?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tactically acquired.
Yes.
Okay, drama. Red Eye, which is a ITV British drama. Richard Armitage is the main character. He's a doctor who's been at a conference in China. He is coming home, and when he lands at Heathrow, he's been arrested because he's being accused of a murder in China. They fly him back, and it's really about the entire flight back from Heathrow back to Beijing, and him trying to figure out that he's innocent. All these things happen, and I won't give any more away, but it is one of those shows that, like, at the end of the episode, you're going to be like, I want to watch the next one right away. Just really well done. There was the show that was on Apple TV, which his name is escaping me. Hijack. Not similar because they're both on planes, but they're not. And and there's action, and somebody's going to get killed and whatever. But to be honest, like they are quite different. But I think they're both very good. And this one I really liked. It's just recency bias because I happened to see it recently. Now, my show of the year so far, which actually quite surprised me because when I was looking at this list, I was like, this is actually the one. So there was a show called Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. It's ITV drama as well. Toby Jones, who was in Detectorists, he plays Mr. Bates. He is a postmaster in the UK. So I don't know how it works in the States, but up here, every Canada Post outlet is owned by Canada Post. But in Britain, they can actually be like a corner store, or it can be, whatever. It can be a standalone, standalone post office. But there's usually what they call a postmaster in there. So it's one person who owns the whole, business. This is based on a true story. It's about they implemented a computer system. The Postal Royal Mail implemented a computer system, I think in the late 90s, and it was full of flaws. And all these postmasters were getting like screwed out of big money. It caused a ton of stress. People killed themselves over it. And they made this brilliant drama where he kind of organizes all the postal masters and postmasters in the UK to kind of go up against the government, technically, because Royal Post was owned by the government. It's worth your time. It's so brilliantly acted. It's got a lot of familiar faces that you're going to recognize. And again, just so good. Like he's so great. He's, in my opinion, one of the great actors that is kind of unsung. He's that Timothy Spall who just is a great character actor, plays everything brilliantly. A Brian Cox. I mean, I know it's Succession or whatever, but like just fabulous. And I can't recommend it enough. It's sad. It's it's heartwarming. It's frustrating because you want justice for all these people, and really well done. So
Ghosts?
Full circle.
No ghosts.
Okay.
Not that I remember. I didn't write it in my notes. So
sorry, what was the title again?
The title is Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
And it's actually free on PBS's website.
There you go.
Oh.
Okay.
So here, I think it's on BritBox, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
That's what we call PBS.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm trying to think. So his wife is played, and I can't find her. I'm scrolling. His wife is played by, if you watch Coronation Street was one of the first kind of big television shows years ago to have a trans character. And the actress who played that on Coronation Street is his wife in the show. And the casting is brilliant. The story is brilliant. Unfortunately, again, it's based on a real story. But yeah, just so many. I'll tell you who else is in it is Will Mellor, Patrick, who you probably know. You'll see his face and you'll go, oh, that guy's been in this British drama and this British. It's just one of those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's great in it. Like fantastic. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I can't gush about it enough.
Oh, EastEnders.
So just amazed. Like he's one of the postmasters that gets, screwed out of money, like screwed out of like his livelihood because the government comes in and goes, you can't run this properly. We're taking it from you. And a lot of the things because they'll live above the post office. So they lose their home and it's just pure stress. And, you can't help but feel for these people. So, and actually this nonsense is still going on.
Oh, wow.
It kind of wraps up. I can't remember. It's like 2020-ish. that's when this kind of part wraps up, but it's actually still happening. And the person who plays kind of the head postmaster, like working for Royal Mayor, she is such, like, the actor does such a great job that you just can't stand her. Like, it's just, but yeah, no, brilliant. Just really worth your time. And I loved it. So.
All right. There was something else that you mentioned before we started recording. No. I think it's a good idea. You were asking if we were going to talk about
the Olympics.
Olympics.
So, listen, who doesn't become an expert at pole vault or at like the horse for 2 weeks, right? Everybody. I don't know about America, but Canadians do. Like, they love it, right? Hey, we had this guy from Nanaimo, BC, who became the hammer throw champ.
Yes.
I don't know what to do in hammer throw, but this guy won gold, and we're all like, this is the greatest person in Canada.
And he looks like he is straight from the 80s.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
With a
And
mullet,
you've probably been to, we used to call them bush parties, where you go like party in the woods, like when you're like 16, so you're a little too young because you're not old. And you'd be like, there'd be guys like that, right? And you're like, you never see them. They're from another high school, right? But they're just pounding beers and they're like the funniest guy ever. That's what this guy looks like. And maybe I'm just giving, my past experiences here, but he, but I loved it. And we're lucky because we live near, or I live near the border. So I was getting the NBC feed as well. And I was getting the CBC feed. So I could kind of go back and forth. And because of the time difference, we tended to watch the kind of prime time recaps at the end of the day, or I was anyway. And I thought NBC, I mean, obviously they try to find that narrative. And sometimes it's trying to force that narrative on you. Like, this swimmer's had this problem, and then they come in sixth. And you're like, really? You just spent 20 minutes building this guy up, and he got sixth?
That's the magic of the Olympics.
Whereas, okay, so in Canada, we had Summer McIntosh.
Yes.
Who won 4 medals, 3 of which were gold.
Yes.
Like the 17-year-old swimmer. And listen, it was amazing. I thought the coverage was great. I love the drama of it all. It's like a marble run on steroids. It's fantastic,
Exactly.
So,
and we learned how you can get disqualified on the in the pole vault.
Yes. Or get your own. Oh, sorry. This is like a tongue twister. Here you go, Nick. Your own OnlyFans.
Right.
Yeah, and then get a massive deal for doing porn. Yeah.
Said
I give my OnlyFans money to Kyle, of course.
Well, thank you. I always thought that was you.
And it was always like anonymous. So.
You like feet, right? I can get those pictures up.
Yeah, he's the Quentin Tarantino of.
Mike, do you guys have? So down here we have Peacock, which is part of not pole. Boy, that actually. Wow, that tied in too well.
Yeah, you think they would have unbranded Peacock, the Peacock?
Well, hold on. But because of Peacock, you could get anything that was playing at any time.
Jem had the same.
You had the same thing? Okay.
But because it was on during the day, I didn't tend to watch it. So we would watch more of the recap.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working from home.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah. Well, even when I went into the office, though, I had my tablet sitting with me, and I would just watch the Estonia Spain basketball game, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
I love it too, because it makes people with actual talent almost stars and gives them recognition. Someone like a Simone Biles, right? She is the GOAT. She's one of the greatest of all time. But outside of the Olympics, like when they have the World Championships and other events around the world, how often, especially, I hate to say it, but in America, how often are you hearing about her, right?
Well, she actually has a tour.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
She goes on tour with a bunch of gymnasts and stuff. Well, but she's one person, but I get your point. Like, the big one for me that broke out was Alana Mayer.
Black Velvet?
Sorry. Black Velvet.
I was going to say, you're welcome. Kenda says you're welcome.
If you please.
Alana Mayer from the rugby team, the women's rugby team.
Yeah.
She blew up. I mean, just on social media. And then, they ended up getting a bronze, which I don't even know if they're good or not. But, she was another one of those stars that kind of broke out. And then you have Raygun, the break dancer from
She's amazing.
Australia.
Well, she's not really. That's the problem.
Breakdancing anymore. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was part of the problem.
No, she's been doing it for years. That's the best part.
Well, that was like a Hope Solo, right? Hope Solo, who knew of her before the Olympics? Oh, I'm not saying she isn't, but it was. I think it was the Olympics that broke her out, right? When you guys won the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
World
because
Cup,
they're not in
maybe.
America, right? America's not watching the Women's World Cup. They don't care. I'm sure it was the Olympics. No, I know. But I think it was the Olympics with them because you guys won the gold, and I think we ended up winning the bronze that year.
Right. It's when Brandy Chastain pulled her shirt off and everybody lost their mind.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. But I do think that the video packages sometimes that they produce, again, sometimes they feel very forced. And again, I don't know what, the Beeb was carrying it. I think the Beeb had a deal with Sky or ITV as well, so they were kind of half and halfing it. But, in Australia or whatever country that they're showing it, I'd love to know what their video packages look like too. But I thought NBC and CBC, like I said, the two that I saw did really well.
What did you guys think of the opening ceremonies?
Kojiro was awesome.
Gojira.
I loved it.
It made me a fan, and I never heard of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I thought it was it was a big risk, of course, because of the weather and all that, but it was such a good idea. Like, as we know, it always takes place in a stadium. And you have Paris, which is one of the most awesome cities in the world, right there. So use it. And that's what they did.
What is that building that they were playing in? It looked like a museum. It was huge. It was a big castle.
Like a parliament.
Yeah. It's not fuck. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it either.
All right. The only thing I would think would be better than that Gojira performance is if Celine Dion did a duet with them for that performance.
That'd be cool too.
Just a little,
I like the part where they took all of the best athletes in the world and then put them in the dirtiest river in the world. That's
What
my
did you
favorite.
hear? I guess it had been raining really bad because they had it, quote unquote, cleaned up, and then it all got churned back up.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Everybody else got
for a
sick
while.
after.
It was funny because, obviously, nobody knew Kojiro was going to be doing it, especially metal fans like myself. We had no idea. And when it happened, we were just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome.
And then, the closing ceremonies, and it's like, you're getting the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm like, oh.
I heard it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it looked so cheap compared to the opening ceremonies. The part with Tom Cruise was cool, I gotta admit. But everything else, the concert, on the beach, it looked so cheap.
Well, Patrick, like you said, the opening ceremony, I
fail.
The thing I thought about it after I saw everything, I just was like, that couldn't have been more French if they tried. I loved it. I was like,
absolutely. And that's part of the yes, but part of the assignment, you have to give. Usually they give a local flavor to the opening ceremonies, and they did that time. And the Eiffel Tower being lit up the way it was, and of course, not everything worked. There were parts that were but when when it hit, it was awesome. Like you said, the part with Gojira, and the part right before that, you saw the camera flying above it was like a living. Oh Christ! I'm doing a terrible job of describing it.
The only thing that I'm sick of seeing is
the French.
Is
they had a lot of them there.
Is every single ceremony always has the presentation of the flags. And all I can always think of is it's a small world after all. It's a
That was the best part when they had the big boats with 2 countries on it. And then they had a dinghy, some guy rowing 3 guys by himself. Those little countries got screwed out of the big fun boat.
Every single time.
Like the Iceland team represented by, you're like, at the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
You're like,
the guy's, he's rowing himself.
Yeah.
What the hell?
All right, rant over.
But overall, I loved it.
Me too.
Honestly.
Me too. It's one of those things where you go, oh, when's this? And the math, but you're like, when's the Winter Olympics? Because everyone, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's winter or summer. You start to care about sports you don't normally care about, and
Where are the Winter Olympics next year? Next year, 2 years.
Italy.
Again?
Italy in 2 years. Yeah, the northern, Turin and all that. It's like the
not Sicily.
Goes to the Alps.
Not Sicily.
No,
not for the Winter Olympics.
Okay, gotcha. No, but they seem like they were there in the last 20 years. Maybe I'm crazy, and it's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, there was Turin in 2000.
Something, right? Yeah. 6.
Yeah, because if it's BC was 2010.
That's weird. They're going back.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver was 2010. Yes. And
Yeah.
Next one in Revere, Massachusetts.
Winter or summer?
Friggin' Revere.
Don't matter. As long as you got dunks, you're good.
But Mike, go ahead, continue.
No, I was just going to say I agree with you 100%. I thought it was really, it's the most engaging TV. There's really no other sports at all. I mean, I do like football and I do like hockey and I do like soccer, but I'm not getting as engaged,
except for those three,
with any of them at this point in my life as I do the Olympics. So yeah, brilliant.
Okay, I got your answer. You were wondering where Gojira performed during the ceremony. It was at La Conciergerie.
Yes,
beautiful.
Which where the Queen was held captive during the French Revolution. I didn't know that.
Why they had that lady with her holding her head in her hand?
That's brass.
Yeah, exactly. And a former courthouse and prison.
No,
yeah.
And they sang it was like a French battle cry or something, right? That's what that song was.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
It was a revolutionary song.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was that what you're talking about, Patrick, when they went over the human depiction of the French Revolution? Like they had it all set up.
It's a revolutionary song, not battle. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Gotcha.
that was it. That was right before, and the camera flew and quick cut to the head.
Yeah.
And then the song started, and that was 30 seconds, but perfect. Yeah.
Like who had Marie Antoinette on their bingo card?
Let him eat cake after
there you
years
go.
of dieting,
And all those dancers with
those poles. That was cool.
Yeah, the poles like in Mad Max.
Yeah,
that was
crazy.
Perfect.
And Nick, you went to MoMA recently. Do you think that they'll put that painting of Gojira performing at the opening ceremony and add that to the?
Absolutely, because some of the shit I saw in MoMA, baffles me. So I say,
more the merrier.
Open the door.
There you go.
Let them in.
That's fine.
One thing I will say, Drew, and I was going to ask maybe the group this because it's something I know because I go to the movies a lot. They were actually advertising here in the States that they were showing the Olympics live in theaters, which I don't recall them doing that in prior years. Like a lot of the AMCs, like nationally, they had daytime and weekend screenings, like the live coverage that you would see on NBC or.
Is that a Fathom event?
It smells like marketing.
I don't know if you've heard anything, Patrick. I know they have done it for regional things. So, for example, if there's an athlete from a certain city or something, they might do it there for that. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't even hear any of that this time, but I think I have heard about that in the past. But
yeah, because they did it like in 3 or 4 hour blocks, or it'd be like, let's say $15 for a ticket.
Wow.
And you would go on from 10 to 2 and it'd be whatever sport or whatever thing it was. But it wasn't at every AMC, but it was the bigger market ones. Like the one here would be in Dallas or New York City or.
Were they showing the bigger events though? Like, how do they know what you're? Okay, like a basketball game or... I
guess they have the schedule. I guess so. They have dedicated ones that, that they'll definitely have
right,
the show times for. But I just don't remember them doing that for, well, not 2020, obviously, but 2016 or 2012.
Yeah,
that's new, right? Or is that just me?
Other than the ones I said.
I guess. Yeah. We're not in big cities, really. Some of us.
Are they just trying to get anybody into the movie theater now? Is that...
Yes.
Pretty much.
Except for me, of course, because
Well, Nick, you live there.
Nick pays rent.
They're trying to get you out. It's get this kid out of here. So we're all done, right, Patrick?
All right. So, well,
yeah, there was 4, right? It was only 4 people.
Oops. I think I did my math wrong.
Oh boy.
I love Kyle.
Get you an abacus.
Actually, I don't have any.
You can't pay it off that way. You got to have something. Please.
Everything. No. Okay. Almost everything was mentioned, but not quite everything. I saw. I mean, first, Mike, did you have anything else?
No, I will say.
Yes, please.
One thing, Woody, I did start to watch Girls 5 Eva, and it's very fun. I like it a lot. I think we're 4 or 5 episodes in. We started to watch it before we went away, and unfortunately, just haven't got back to it yet. We haven't got back to anything. Thank you, Olympics. But it's a lot of fun, and it was perfect, just like that kind of 20, 25-minute hit of fun, and I liked it.
Good, glad you liked it.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I've mentioned those shows before in previous episodes. It was almost done when I mentioned them first, but a Gentleman in Moscow with Ewan McGregor. It's good. Check it out. Also, yeah, Slow Horses, season 4, September 4th. I mentioned that.
I'm almost on board with this show now. I saw a commercial for it finally. I've heard you guys talk about it for years. I might go into it next.
You won't be disappointed.
I know, because it's exactly what I love. It's a team. It's a ragtag team.
And Gary Oldman, like Patrick has said in the past, steals every scene.
He's got a mohawk. He's black. He wears lots of chains, right?
Yeah, he plays Sid Vicious in this one again.
Pities the fools.
When you say team,
Yeah.
wait.
The top team, yeah.
And the books are awesome as well.
What are those again?
It's hilarious that we have two librarians on the show.
And I'm married to one.
We're just hammering that joke.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Shogun.
Oh, yeah.
We mentioned that, and it's awesome.
They're making season 2, by the way. Did you hear that?
I heard of it, but I wasn't sure if it was confirmed.
No, they did. So the guy who played the main Shogun guy, he was on, I want to say like Seth Meyers.
Cosmo Davis.
Pardon me?
Cosmo Davis.
No.
Is that it?
No.
Jarvis.
He played the Shogun, the main.
Oh, sorry. Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry.
He was on Letterman, or not Letterman, jeez. But Kimmel or Myers or one of those shows. And he was talking about...
Walter Cronkite.
Right.
Johnny.
Yep, John Chancellor.
No, Johnny Carson.
They said they got to the end of the book, but they're still... So anything that comes out new is not based on the book at all. It's just going to be free form moving forward.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, so that's where I'm a little concerned about.
There are other books, and I think the next one in the series, I think it takes place like 100 years afterwards.
Yeah, but it's supposed to just be an extension of this one because it's the same actors. So, well, except Anna, the best one, which was Anna Sawai. I think, she was fantastic.
Yes.
Was she the main girl in that?
Yeah.
And spoilers, she won't be in season 1 unless you have flashbacks or something. So yes, season 2, sorry, unless you have flashbacks. Okay, so one on I bailed on after 2 episodes, Dark Matter. With Joel Edgerton and Jennifer Connelly. I think it was on Apple Plus. So it's another thing about like multiverses and alternate timelines and all that shit. And I was near the end of episode 2 and I was like, if this happens, I'm out.
And it happened.
Yeah, and that happened.
You're out.
I bailed.
Man of his word.
Yes, and apparently the reviews are good, but I'm done with that shit. Oh, House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys watch it?
I did. I totally forgot about putting it on the list.
We all did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit. Woody, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
More than the first season?
No.
Yes, because the whole age shift thing that happened in the first season, I didn't like that. So this was all the same aged people.
Same lumpy inbred albinos.
Right, exactly. I hate a bad guy who's just a bad guy for no reason, which I feel like
the whole show.
Aegon, the longer-haired son.
Yeah.
Eye patch guy?
Yeah. But if you really think about it, I can tell why he's an a-hole.
He is awesome, though.
Yeah, he is so good. Yeah. But I thought the storylines were great. How they wrapped up the end was good. The drafting of the Dragon Riders, I don't want to go into too much depth in case somebody doesn't watch it yet. I thought I really, really enjoyed it. And the woman who plays the actor with the dark hair.
Alicent,
yes. She actually got hit in the face by a fish. That wasn't CGI. And the guy who threw it was like a cricket
boyfriend
champion from something. It was really wild. I saw a video about it where they had this guy and she was like, the first take didn't look as good. So she was like, hit me again.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, take a fish in the face. I'll like your show.
They got one of the Summer Olympians to go.
Commitment.
Right. Exactly. Hammer throw.
Yeah.
Yes. I liked it as well, but I thought there were a few problems with like how they use the characters, and that's probably like with the source material. But they like Matt Smith spends half the season hallucinating in Harrenhal.
Agreed.
That's kind of a waste because he is great in it. Also, like the girl Rena, I think she spends half the season running around in a field looking for a dragon.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I mean, she was whatever as a character, so not that big of a waste. But the guy who gets, okay, spoiler, like his dragon dies and he gets burned, like half of his body gets really burned. Do you think he looks like a young James Cagney?
Yes, he does. I did. Okay. I see that. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. And also, Rhys Ifans, I would have liked to see him more in this season. Like, he leaves like in second episode,
but you find out why in the end.
Yes, but he was so great. I would have liked to see more of him.
Season 3.
But that's why. That's why when you see him at the end, you're like,
yes,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I guess, but it was like, come on, less Matt Smith hallucinating and more Rhys Ifans shitting on James Cagney, please. Anyway, and what else? Yeah, I liked it. Like the finale was kind of a don't want to be vulgar, but like blue balls episode. It leaves you.
That's a good one.
Well, depends.
So I got a question for you guys. Do you guys listen to any companion podcasts to the shows you watch?
No.
Yes, I do sometimes.
Okay.
I started to for this one.
What do you listen to for this one?
Is it Talk the Thrones from the Ringer movies on YouTube?
I listened to one. It's called Game of Owns, OWNS. And it's just these two people that they're friends. It's a man and a woman, and they record one right after the episode is done. So with initial reactions, and then they record one later in the week after they've had time to process it.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like a deep dive.
Yeah. And so I found that one has been, I forgot about it until halfway through the season. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they're doing this show too. Because I watched them for Game of Thrones. Because they would always, because they know the books really well, and they'll explain the shit I don't understand. Because
that's nice, like that,
right?
Because you don't read.
Guess you didn't know.
So that's two. And so, like, Nick, what do you listen to?
Well, okay, it's embarrassing, but I listen with a few friends, like
YouTube,
a Below Deck like companion podcast, because it's more entertaining than the actual show. It's just two people that just
I can see that
review the show, and so I do that one, and then I mean, I really should start one for that freaking beachfront bargain hunt show. I really should.
Yeah, you might have a market.
I know.
I bet there's something out there.
I like it sometimes just because it fills the gaps, but then I feel like sometimes, especially if like, I don't know how you guys feel, but sometimes we have our friends or family or whatever, they don't watch the shows that we watch, and you kind of think, am I going crazy, kind of? But you want to hear someone sort of have a similar opinion to what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of what I like about like some of those shows. But the one for Below Deck, it's awesome. But a reality show, so trash TV, of course. So.
Woody, do you remember if you had a clear favorite scene in the season finale of House of the Dragon? Because I have one.
Go ahead. No, because I liked when the hand on the tree with all where you found out everything that was going on. I thought was pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
That was the blue balling.
A speed run through Game of Thrones
the edging
itself.
Leading up to the blue balls.
Yes. My favorite scene was when Gwyn Hightower was threatening Christian Cole. He was going to execute him. Like, you're fucking my sister, basically. And like Christian Cole spends like 5 minutes explaining, yes, I fucked your sister, but let me tell you why it won't matter in a few weeks, because we will all be dead. You remember that scene?
I do.
Awesome scene. So yeah. What else? Okay, so that's it for House of the Dragon. Do I have anything else? Oh yeah, Blue Lights. I talked about it in the previous episode. The cops in Belfast. Awesome. It's 6 episodes. It's awesome.
Does it get any cheerier? Because that first episode of the first season, I mean, I liked it, but I was like, oh my goodness, like. Or is it like? Do you remember?
He gets no, since you got to think about it.
Yeah. I guess you could say no, but. It's a great balance of everything. It's got just enough humor. The characters feel human. They are not stereotypes or caricatures. It's really good.
Did you watch Happy Valley?
The first season.
Okay. Because that was like, wow. You're like, is it over yet? I don't understand what's happening.
Yes, it was.
So, yeah.
And The Boys season 4, we talked about this. Okay, so yeah, that's my list.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there anything that people are besides Slow Horses? Check it off. Is there anything that's coming out? Because I have one that I do want to watch and I haven't started yet.
Oh yeah, I do have one.
So y'all inspire me because I know because Drew and Woody are like our well, I'm gonna say show offs when it comes to TV, because I was like kind of looking at shows to watch. There's one with Vince Vaughn called Bad Monkey.
That's where I was going.
I was going to ask if any of you saw that. It's already out.
My parents liked it so far.
My wife watched the first episode and she really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
I also want to watch on Apple TV. They've raved about Presumed Innocent. And I love my parents so much because they're like 30 years behind on Stars. And they're like, this young up-and-coming actor, Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm like, Mom and Dad, he's been around for like 25 years. Like,
blowing up.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, you should check out Roadhouse.
Yo, y'all did the Lord's work on that one.
Oh,
I don't have to.
I love
You
the
need to find an
silence.
awkward silent drop. I'm telling you, it would have fit there for
Yeah. If you want your parents to not talk to you anymore, that's a good way to,
I could show Conor McGregor and they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah, pretty much.
You like wrestling, Nick. Like, come on. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And also, it's good that you mentioned Presumed Innocent because I remember the movie with Harrison
Cool.
Ford
Yeah.
from the 80s, and it's quite different. I haven't seen the TV show. I'm good.
You got what you needed.
Yes, but I mean they are quite different. I mean, no spoilers.
Is it a remake of the movie, like the original story, or is it like a continuation? Is he guilty again?
Spoiler, he's not innocent.
No,
All right,
no,
never
I
mind.
said no spoiler. I'm not going to.
I only brought that up because I watched the TV show maybe a year or two ago, The American Gigolo, that was on HBO.
Oh yeah, with John Bernthal.
That's not a remake. That's a sequel of the movie. So, yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, was it any good?
No, yeah, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Just
anytime they make a
forgettable.
TV sequel of a movie, it's always like.
And John Bernthal's good and everything, but I think just the writing this was kind of lackluster.
It's like when they did Fatal Attraction last year or the year before. It's kind of like, why are they doing some of these shows that were movies that, like, they're never going to live up to it, kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that they did that. That's true. Jesus.
It's
Okay.
a new theme, just mine all the old stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I think so, someone just was like, "Oh, Paul Schrader, I can take that on. I can make it my own." And it's
Yeah. Wah, wah. The narrator says he did not take that on. It did not
Something
work.
I was going to ask y'all if you watched, because no one I know has watched it, but it's nominated for Emmys, is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Donald Glover.
I did.
Was it good?
Yeah, we talked about it in the last episode, I thought. That's why I didn't bring it up.
We did.
I thought so.
I think you did, but I forgot. Though, honestly.
Hey, you should go. Hey, everybody, go back and listen to that previous episode, and then come back and pick it up here. But no, I really enjoyed it.
Okay,
I'd give it an 8. I quite enjoyed the Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
8 out of 9.65.
Well, what's our new scale? No, remember that weird scale from last?
Yeah, I forgot about that scale. I thought if there's 2 shows, actually 2.5. There's a show that's coming out. This is for John Mudford. Teacup, which is it's like a horror thriller show, and it's what's his name? James Wan is producing it, and it's they're setting up this little tiny trailers, so they don't show anything what it's about. But it basically the synopsis was that there's a group of people that are strangers that come together and have to form an alliance against a threat in Georgia. They're in some rural part of Georgia where they get stuck there.
Where they film stuff.
I have no idea. Then beyond that, that's all I know. Yeah.
Deliverance.
They're on a
Who
film
knows?
set.
But that's all I know. But the trailer sets it up for like a pretty exciting, it looks like a limited series, but who knows? And then this one I just heard today. I didn't even know it was coming out. But Dune Prophecy.
What?
Oh
yeah.
A TV show?
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's gonna, because the CGI looks a little rough. I mean, how are you gonna compare with the movie? That
Yeah.
it's like $1 billion on screen. But we'll see.
Maybe a one room.
And I talked with Angie because Angie reads the books and she was not familiar with the story. So I don't know if this is.
That's not good.
I don't know what book this is based off of, but it's yeah. So that's a red flag. So that's my question mark. And then Penguin, which I'm also on the fence about because that's Colin Farrell's continuation of his Batman Penguin story.
That's a show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which,
I think that's going to be on Max because that's that.
I think it's on Max too.
Yeah, because that's what Batman
Interesting.
now. So We'll see.
I saw trailers, and
That's a we'll see.
Yeah, it could be good, but
Was he good in that as the Penguin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes just have a little of something is enough.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
let's see.
It worked so well for Gotham on Fox or whatever.
I liked the first couple seasons of Gotham.
How many were there?
Too many.
A lot.
Really?
I liked it.
Was it like the Flash and Green Arrowverse and all that?
No, it was darker.
Okay.
You had teenage Bruce Wayne kind of thing. Emo, right? Yeah.
No,
No.
You're losing me now.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good timing because we're done.
Good, I'm out of here. Thank God.
All right. No, I got that's all I got. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you for your patience. Where can we find you online? Nick, let's start with you.
Well, thank you again, Patrick, for allowing me to talk to you all. It's always a good time. You can find me at Rockin' Retro Pod on pretty much any social media platform.
Awesome. Thank you. Hector, what about you?
At Classic Hexagon. Classic. At Klaxon. They were playing with Vixen. On Twitter, and then same thing on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. Woody, what about you?
Best place to find me is The Wooden Chef on Instagram.
Thank you. Kyle.
Also on Instagram, Overkill Art, OVERKYLART.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, what about you?
Pickies with Filters, PICIES with filters on Instagram and Threads. But Threads is slowly but surely turning into Twitter part 2, and I'm just like, I'm done. So just too many. Like, I don't follow any politics, and that's all I keep getting. And maybe it's because I don't follow enough people, because I only follow a couple, I think, on there. But I'm already starting to get like
JD Vance.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't be dealing with any of this now. So
it's also that time of year,
that too. Thanks, USA.
Yep.
So if you want to drop us a line, you can do so at EETFpod on Instagram and Twitter. So thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
And we will catch you on the next one. Probably quick and quirky questions, I'm guessing, but stay tuned. All right. Thanks. Bye.